Now, I tell you, I'm into those LBJ books.
Yeah.
And so in 1941, he ran for Senate and lost. And that was, right around when World War II was starting. And he campaigned a bunch in 41 saying if this war happens, I'm tearing up my draft card and I will be in the trenches with, I'm not sending a boy to fight or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the war was declared and he was like, I'm not going for the war. I'm not doing that shit. But then, the media starts paying attention. They're like, didn't he say he would go to war? And he wanted to run for Senate again. So eventually he got an appointment as a lieutenant commander in the Navy. And then his job was just go to inspect boat yards on the West Coast and cheat on his wife. And while he was there, his wife had to run his congressional office because he was still in Congress. So she just did his job while he was getting
pussy
portraits taken in Hollywood and cheating on his wife, up and down the West Coast, and they would just keep it a secret where he was. They were like, oh, he's on an important secret mission. They wouldn't tell anybody.
Tell her.
Yeah, and then eventually he did. He had to go to the Pacific. He went to Australia and flew as an observer on a single mission, which, to be fair, he was shot at. But then he would embellish the story. It's like, yeah, I was at war for years, months, just in the shit, just lying about it.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
it is really cool to lie about being in the army and being at war.
No, I mean,
Stolen Valor is the
if you like
shit.
Power Broker, you should read those LBJ books.
Yeah.
It's like, he's like, yeah, this guy, I'm gonna write fucking a cumulative 20,000 pages about how much of a piece of shit he was. He's just like, Caro's like the world's greatest hater of all time.
He's gossip.
Yeah, no, literally.
Yeah,
he's just a fucking hater. And he started working on those LBJ books in the 70s. And he's probably 115 years old. And he's somewhere in this city right now, still
trying to finish.
Another thing LBJ did makes him a piece of shit. He's like just fucking still working on the 5th book.
There's 4?
There's 4 published. There's a 5th one that's due out.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he releases one every decade.
He's old as fuck, that guy.
Yeah. He spent his entire life just
gossiping.
Just basically being a subreddit guy. Just
being an Opie and Anthony.
Being an
r/O.
Yeah. Just being a YouTube comment guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a pedophile.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and a drug addict.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's great, dude.
Yeah.
One day there's going to be a definitive Nick Mullen historian.
Probably not.
Yeah, I think
hope that no, it'll just be you giving interviews, and it's all about
gossip.
Yourself.
Yeah. And that's when I inspired Nick to say that.
When I came up with the idea for the Adam Friedland show. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I don't know, it was like 12:30 or 1, and I couldn't really sleep, so I took a weed gummy, and I fucking feel awful in the morning.
Yeah.
I took it to sleep. I don't even take very much.
I'm kind of reverse jet lag. Oh, well, I guess just regular jet lag.
Yeah.
Back. So I didn't go to bed till 1:30 last night, but I woke up at 9:30.
Same, yeah. Same, but I was just foggy-headed.
Something else I remember, those LBJ books. Maybe we'll just turn this podcast into me reading books, and then you don't have to, and I can tell you that.
That's what I do for the talk show. I have Noah read the books.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool in life that, in school, I used to cheat, and they were like, that's bad. But then, when you're an adult, you can pay a nerd. Mm-hmm. To just read.
Yeah, and that's they say
Noah read Neil deGrasse.
Chinese billionaires send their kids over here to do that now in colleges.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, excuse me, professor, but Wei Ling is cheating. And they're like, she's Chinese.
She's Chinese.
So what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You want to keep using your fucking laptop? Well, what am I supposed to do? Expel her and then we have no microchips anymore?
We're going to be in a fucking gulag.
Why don't you stop fucking tattling and get back on TikTok?
We need her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't read Neil deGrasse Tyson's book. Mm-hmm. I just had a nerd do it for me.
Yeah.
Who's our friend.
Yeah.
Who can read books really fast. And he's like, yeah, this is the one. He'd just tell me the 4 dumbest parts.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, so, let's talk about your book.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the LBJ stuff's great. You should read it for real instead of just pretending to have read them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I will.
He was like
Maybe when I'm done with Teddy
he
Roosevelt,
was like one of the richest presidents ever elected.
As a teacher?
No, he wasn't a teacher when he was elected president.
What was he, like oil executive or something?
No, he stayed away from oil money. He had an offer. He could have been just given like a share in an oil company without having to put any money down, and just like paid it back through future profits. And it would have netted him $750,000.
Uh-huh.
But he knew that he wouldn't be able to be elected president if he had oil interests, and that became public. So what he did was he used his position in Congress to purchase a radio station through his wife's name in Austin that had been hamstrung by FCC regulations. And the FCC in 1943 was like at war with Congress, basically, because they were just like over-regulating, I guess. But this radio station that had been kind of like just in a shit spot in Austin because they couldn't get a permit to broadcast after sundown, so they couldn't get any advertising money because that's when everybody was listening to the radio.
Yeah.
And then you have to get a permit to increase your transmit power and then also change frequencies. So there's all this shit that had been held up, but LBJ, because he's in Congress, and he set himself up sort of as a secret ally between the FCC chairman and Sam Rayburn's office, and he would basically like pass messages to them.
Rayburn was Speaker of the House?
Yeah, Speaker, yeah. Pass messages to them, and through that he got everything for his wife's radio station pushed through. So for $20,000 they bought a radio station that wasn't profitable, and then overnight they changed the frequency, up the transmit power through not the actual work itself, but the permits and everything, changed the power, and then basically turned a radio station that had been hamstrung by FCC regulations into now one that was worth 5 times as much as his wife paid for it. And she would have to go there and basically be the fucking janitor and manage the books and stuff, and he would come by and boss people around, and then he got like a CBS affiliation, but eventually just kept growing those properties. But yeah, he probably had more money than any other president
from the radio, which was
other media properties that were entirely owned by his wife,
like newspapers and
So he would say like, oh yeah, no, that's my wife's company. I got nothing to do with that.
He was she was like a Paul Pelosi type.
Yeah. Basically the same thing that every politician does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Using their office for personal gain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's like the funny thing about the Hunter Biden thing, because it's like, you'll see people be like, well, what about Jared Kushner in Saudi Arabia? It's like, what about every single one of them ever in the history of ever being in public? It's like, these are fake. Those laws exist so that we can look at them and be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Well, is that what
else is? You know what else is a law?
Yeah.
It's illegal to have sex with children.
Is it?
Yeah. But
that's in the Constitution?
That's in the U.S. Code.
Really?
You're not allowed to have sex with children. You're not allowed to internationally traffic underage sex slaves to a private island and fuck them on camera. But
what if it's not international? What if it's the U.S. Virgin
If we don't
Islands?
let that happen, Paul Pelosi is going to be in a bad mood, and then Nancy can't do her job.
Yeah.
So
we need it.
Right, exactly. That's just the way
to keep the cogs.
That's moving. Just exactly the way the wheels are greased.
We need the wheels greased.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's pretty cool, dude. Yeah, I gotta check out that book.
That is the second one in the LBJ series.
The second one.
Yeah, Means of Ascent. I like how he had to keep giving it the same name over and over again. The Path to Power.
Yeah.
The Means of Ascent.
The map towards.
The Passage.
The passage.
Power Passage.
Yeah.
I think he's such a good writer, but he can't come up with titles. The Power Broker and the Fall of New York.
Yes. What was I gonna say?
That's the funny thing too, is he writes critically about LBJ, like making his wife do his work for him.
Yeah.
But Caro's wife was his
Assistant?
well, she researched everything with books. She would go and conduct the interviews and stuff, and like
Oh, shit.
counting records and stuff. Yeah, he moved her down to Texas to
Yeah.
do all the research. And
Well, in every work of art, you know, you have yourself in it. So, you know, it is Robert Caro on Johnson.
yes,
Really.
Mm-hmm.
It's like me writing a book on.
Don't say Bob Dylan. Nardwuar.
Nardwuar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who I kind of aspire to be. Kind of
Yeah.
a mixture between Bravo's Andy Cohen and Nardwuar. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where
Nardwuar Cohen.
where I see my career headed.
Yeah.